For many years, India and China have had a complicated relationship. This relationship is rooted in a long history of cultural exchanges, trade, and sometimes conflicts. The two nations share a border that stretches over thousands of kilometers, and this proximity has often led to both cooperation and tension. The historical Silk Road, for instance, was a major trade route that connected the two ancient civilizations, fostering economic and cultural ties. However, the modern era has seen a shift in dynamics, with both countries emerging as significant global players. It's been a mix of working together and competing. On one hand, there have been numerous instances of collaboration, such as joint military exercises and trade agreements that have benefited both economies. Indian and Chinese businesses have found common ground, working together on various projects ranging from technology to infrastructure. These collaborations have not only boosted economic growth, but also helped in building a certain level of trust between the two nations. But recently, things have become more competitive. The rise of China as a global superpower has introduced new challenges. Military parades showcasing advanced weaponry and technology, along with rigorous training exercises by the Indian Army, highlight the growing emphasis on defense and preparedness. The stock markets of both countries reflect this competition, with each nation striving to outdo the other in economic performance and technological advancements. Why? Because China is becoming more powerful, both in terms of its economy and its military. The bustling cityscapes of China, filled with skyscrapers and advanced infrastructure, are a testament to its rapid economic growth. Military drills and exercises further emphasize China's focus on strengthening its defense capabilities. Economic growth charts show a consistent upward trend, making China a formidable force on the global stage. This is creating tension with India's own goals of being a leader in the region. India, with its rich history and strategic location, has always aspired to be a dominant player in Asia. Government meetings and discussions often revolve around strategies to counter China's influence. The Indian Defence Forces are continually modernizing and upgrading their capabilities to ensure they can stand their ground. Aerial views of New Delhi, the heart of India's political landscape, reflect the nation's ambitions and challenges. This rivalry is a big deal, not just for Asia, but for the whole world. The map of Asia, with India and China highlighted, underscores the significance of this rivalry. International summits and United Nations meetings often have these two nations at the center of discussions, as their actions and policies have far-reaching implications. The global community watches closely, understanding that the balance of power in Asia can influence global stability and economic trends. It's not just about who controls which piece of land or who gets access to resources. The disputed border areas are a constant source of tension, with both nations claiming sovereignty over strategic regions. Natural resource extraction sites are also points of contention, as both countries seek to secure vital resources for their growing populations and industries. Military patrols in these contested regions highlight the ongoing struggle for control and influence. It's about what the future will look like. The futuristic cityscapes of both nations symbolize their aspirations and potential. Global business meetings indicate the interconnectedness of the world economy and the roles India and China play in it. The children in schools represent the future generations who will inherit the outcomes of today's decisions and policies. Their education and upbringing will shape the future of these two nations and, by extension, the world. Will China be the main power, or will we see a world with many important players, including India? The Chinese military march showcases its strength and discipline, while the Indian space program launch highlights India's advancements in technology and exploration. International leaders shaking hands signify the diplomatic efforts to maintain balance and peace. The question remains whether China will dominate, or if a multipolar world with several key players, including India, will emerge. To understand this, we need to look deeper than the news headlines. News studios and newspapers often provide a snapshot of the ongoing events, but the real story lies beneath the surface. People reading the news on their phones are constantly bombarded with information, but understanding the underlying strategies and motivations requires a deeper analysis. We need to understand the strategies both countries are using. Strategic planning meetings and military strategy maps reveal the meticulous planning and foresight involved. Economic policy documents highlight the measures taken to boost growth and counter external pressures. Both nations are employing a range of strategies to secure their interests and achieve their long-term goals. India is trying many different things to counter China's influence, from modernizing its military to changing its economy. Indian soldiers undergo rigorous training to ensure they are prepared for any eventuality. The tech industry in India is booming, with startups and established companies driving innovation. Infrastructure projects are transforming the landscape, improving connectivity and boosting economic growth. Whether these efforts succeed or fail will shape Asia's future. The cityscapes of Asia, with their blend of tradition and modernity, reflect the region's dynamic nature. Economic forecast charts provide insights into potential growth trajectories, while think tank discussions delve into the complexities of geopolitical strategies. The success or failure of these efforts will have a profound impact on the future of Asia and the world. As China keeps growing, the whole world is watching to see what India will do. Global news broadcasts and international economic summits often feature discussions on China's growth and India's response. Crowds in India watching the news on TV are keenly aware of the stakes involved. The world is watching, waiting to see how this dynamic unfolds and what it means for the future of global power structures. The most obvious sign of the rivalry between India and China is the tension along their shared border in the Himalayas. This region, known for its breathtaking beauty and towering peaks, has become a flashpoint for geopolitical tensions. The rugged terrain and harsh weather conditions add to the complexity of the situation, making it a challenging environment for both nations to navigate. This border, called the Line of Actual Control, has seen many fights and standoffs lately, including a serious clash in 2020. The 2020 clash was particularly notable for its intensity and the casualties it caused on both sides. It highlighted the fragile nature of peace in this region and the ever-present risk of escalation. The line of actual control is not a clearly demarcated boundary, which often leads to misunderstandings and confrontations. Because China is building up its military presence in the region, India is working hard to strengthen its defenses. The Chinese military buildup includes the construction of new bases, deployment of advanced weaponry, and increased troop presence. In response, India has been ramping up its own military capabilities, ensuring that it can effectively counter any potential threats. This military buildup on both sides has led to a significant increase in tensions and a heightened state of alert. This means sending more troops, improving roads and infrastructure, and getting new weapons. The Indian government has prioritized the development of infrastructure in the border areas, recognizing that efficient logistics are crucial for maintaining a strong defense. New roads and bridges are being constructed to ensure that troops and supplies can be moved quickly and efficiently. Additionally, India is investing in advanced military equipment to enhance its combat capabilities. For example, India is building new roads, bridges and tunnels to make it easier to move troops and supplies along the border. These infrastructure projects are not only vital for military logistics, but also for the development of the remote border regions. Improved connectivity can lead to economic development and better living conditions for the local population, which in turn can contribute to greater stability in the region. India is also spending a lot of money on new fighter jets, helicopters and artillery, many of which are bought from countries like France and the United States. These acquisitions are part of a broader strategy to modernize the Indian military and ensure that it has the technological edge needed to defend its borders. The new fighter jets and helicopters enhance India's air capabilities, while advanced artillery systems provide greater firepower and precision. The goal isn't to be stronger than China's military, but to make it very difficult and costly for them to attack. India's strategy is based on deterrence, aiming to create a situation where any aggressive move by China would result in significant losses. This involves not only strengthening physical defenses, but also conducting regular military drills to ensure that troops are well prepared for any eventuality. The focus is on creating a robust defense posture that can withstand any potential aggression. This is not easy. The Himalayas are very high and have extreme weather, which makes it hard and expensive for the military to operate there. The harsh conditions include freezing temperatures, heavy snowfall, and treacherous terrain, all of which pose significant challenges for military operations. Soldiers stationed in these areas have to undergo specialized training to cope with the extreme environment, and maintaining supply lines in such conditions is a logistical nightmare. Plus, China has a geographical advantage. The Chinese side of the border is more accessible and has better infrastructure, giving them an upper hand in terms of logistics and mobility. This geographical advantage allows China to deploy troops and equipment more efficiently, making it a formidable challenge for India to counter. However, India is determined to overcome these disadvantages through strategic planning and continuous investment in its border defenses. But even with these challenges, India is determined to protect its land and prevent China from pushing further. The resolve of the Indian military and government is unwavering, and they are committed to ensuring the sovereignty and security of their nation. This determination is reflected in the ongoing efforts to bolster defenses, improve infrastructure, and maintain a strong military presence in the region. Despite the difficulties, India remains steadfast in its mission to secure the Himalayan frontier. While the military situation gets a lot of attention, the economic front is equally crucial in shaping the future of the nation. India's economic response is just as important. The country is not just focusing on its borders, but also on its boardrooms, where significant decisions are being made to counter external pressures. For a long time, India has relied on China for many goods, especially things like electronics and medicines. This dependency has created a significant trade imbalance, making India vulnerable to economic coercion. This has given China a lot of power, which they haven't been afraid to use. China's economic influence extends far beyond its borders, impacting global supply chains and market dynamics. To change this, India is trying to make more things domestically and attract foreign companies to invest in India. The goal is to reduce dependency on imports and build a self-reliant economy. One of the biggest initiatives is called Make in India, which offers tax breaks and other benefits to companies that set up factories in India. This campaign aims to transform India into a global manufacturing hub. It's still early, but there are signs that this is working. New factories are being built, and the manufacturing sector is showing promising growth. Big companies like Apple and Samsung have announced plans to make more of their products in India. This not only boosts local manufacturing, but also creates jobs and stimulates economic growth. The government is also investing a lot in infrastructure and training people with the skills needed to attract foreign investment. Modernizing infrastructure and enhancing skill development are key to making India an attractive destination for global businesses. But there are still big challenges. India's bureaucracy, corruption, and lack of good infrastructure make many foreign companies hesitant. These issues need to be addressed to create a more business-friendly environment. India's bureaucracy, corruption, and lack of good infrastructure make many foreign companies hesitant. These systemic issues can deter potential investors and slow down economic progress. On top of that, China's huge factories and wealth give it a big advantage. China's established manufacturing ecosystem and financial resources make it a formidable competitor. Overcoming these challenges will require continued effort and strong leadership. India's leaders must remain committed to reforms and policies that foster economic growth and resilience. Additionally, fostering innovation and supporting startups can play a crucial role in driving economic transformation. India's vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem has the potential to create new industries and job opportunities. Investing in renewable energy and sustainable practices is another area where India can make significant strides. By focusing on green energy, India can reduce its carbon footprint and create a more sustainable economy. Education and skill development are also critical. By improving the quality of education and providing vocational training, India can equip its workforce with the skills needed for a modern economy. Promoting gender equality and empowering women in the workforce can further boost economic growth. Ensuring that women have equal opportunities in education and employment is essential for a balanced and inclusive economy. In conclusion, India's economic counteroffensive is multifaceted, involving a range of initiatives and reforms. While challenges remain, the country's efforts to build a self-reliant and resilient economy are showing promise. With continued focus and determination, India can overcome obstacles and emerge as a significant player on the global economic stage. The journey is long, but the potential rewards are immense. No country can stand up to China alone, and India knows this. In recent years, India has been building relationships with countries that share its concerns about China's growing power. One of the most important partnerships is called the Quad, which includes India, the United States, Japan, and Australia. The Quad isn't a formal military alliance, but its members conduct joint military exercises, share intelligence, and work together on diplomatic efforts. Beyond the Quad, India has also strengthened ties with countries like France, Vietnam, and Indonesia, all of which have their own disputes with China. These partnerships give India diplomatic support, access to advanced technology, and the possibility of working together militarily if a conflict were to happen. However, these alliances have limitations. Some of India's partners, like the United States, have their own complicated relationships with China and might not be willing to fully commit to a confrontation. Also, these are still relatively new relationships that haven't been tested.